2023 is almost here, so we are going to fill out some of the annual spreads that I created in my 2023 bullet journal. Let's get started. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth. This is Chester, my bullet journal for 2023. If you missed that video, all the Planmas videos are linked in the description box below. You can go back and check out why I chose to name my bullet journal for 2023 Chester and check out my music and lyrics theme. So today we are going to fill out two different spreads on this. We're going to do my page for 2022 lessons. We're going to tap into my 2023 guide, and then we are also going to fill in some of my 102 to do. I don't have a full 100 yet, and we are going to pop into my Notion to kind of see how I've brainstormed that, and then we are going to fill some of this out as well. Notably, I do not have any trackers here in the beginning of my bullet journal. If you saw my 2022 flip through, you know that I'm terrible at them and I just don't fill out those trackers. The other thing I need to do is actually fill out my future log. I have not done that yet, but I'll do that a little later in the week, closer to the new year, as I'm wrapping up things in my 2022 journal for the rest of the year. But let's go ahead and look at some of these prompts and see how that I'm going to fill them in. Now, if you want to find any of these sort of prompts, I really just Googled a lot of things to figure out which questions I thought would work for me. So the first one we have in 2022 lessons is I found unexpected joy in, and that's something in the year that surprised you. So let me see if I can figure out what I want to put here. Really haven't thought a lot of this out, I'll be honest. I don't mind sharing some of these things with you, but we are going to sort of speed up the video so that you don't have to sit here while I write, and we can talk about it after. Okay, for the thing that I found unexpected joy in, I wrote work-life balance. I've talked about it a lot on this channel, how much I was working in late 20 and then 21 and part of 2022 as a venue event manager. And I just wrote that who knew I could thrive away from the pressure and excitement of managing large event venues? Not me. Weekends are still a novelty and I miss the thrill, but it was the right choice for me this year. And that is going to tie into the next question or prompt, which was I was most courageous by. And I was most courageous by walking away from a toxic working situation. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. I still don't have this notebook at the optimum angle for me to write my cursive, so it's looking a little crazy pants. But I wrote, walking away from a toxic work situation in order to focus on my physical and mental health. I was also brave in choosing to have a full psych evaluation for my bipolar disorder and mental health after the last difficult 3 years. The next prompt is I found purpose in. The one below that is I showed growth in. I'm going to have to think about these for a minute, so give me a second and I'll be back after I fill these in. Okay, y'all, so here we go. I found purpose in my creativity. From Dots and Beyond to my work to writing projects for friends, I am tapping into a creative side of me that went untouched for many years until I began to share it publicly and with friends. I had pretty much stopped doing any kind of creative work for a number of years for a multitude of reasons. Part of that was my previous marriage. Part of that was going back to school as an adult and trying to get that degree. I didn't really have time for my creative efforts. There were just a lot of things that fed into that, including the fact that I tend to be a workaholic. And so until I started Dots and Beyond, and I started bullet journaling 2 months before the pandemic, and then I had to figure that out, right? And until I started doing it publicly, being open about my writing projects with my friends, and now I get to do some freelance stuff. So I have written some resumes and I have written some cover letters that have hopefully gotten my friends their jobs. In addition to Dots and Beyond, I have some other things going on my personal website and some freelance, and then I also get to be creative in my work because I'm more on the event planning side rather than the management side. side now. So I get to tap into it there as well, and that definitively gives me purpose. And then I showed growth in choosing therapy over family, recognizing I cannot heal without help and that not all close to me know how to be an advocate for my mental health. I love my family. My dad, who passed away 9 years ago, was my mental health advocate. He read about bipolar disorder. He followed research about bipolar disorder. He would talk to me about how well I was or if I was okay and did I need help. He was my guy. And not that I don't love my mom and my brother. I do very much, and I know that they love me. They just don't know how to be a mental health advocate. And my mom is now in her 80s. She's very grounded in her beliefs, and I just don't think the modern mental health model is ever going to gel with her, and I have to learn to be okay with that and find other people in my life that are going to be my mental health advocates. So I have shown growth in beginning to recognize that and in starting that therapy process after a lot of years where I did not have any sort of talk therapy. So there's my 2022 lessons. We are going to look over here at the 2023 guide. These questions I have are fairly simple, so I left a little space, not a whole lot of space for them, but I want to repeat. I want to lose. This is not meant to be weight. This is, something more tangible or a habit, that sort of thing. I want to gain. I want to enjoy. I can succeed by. I need more. I want to visit, and I want to savor. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. Okay, here we are with my 2023 guide. Again, I told you I was going to keep my answers very short, and I did that. So I want to repeat the continued focus on my mental health journey. This is my number one priority for 2023. I want to lose my inhibitions about my body size and what's holding me back. This is something we're working on in therapy. I'm a big girl. I didn't used to be this way. I used to be the superstar athlete back in high school days. 26 years of antipsychotic medications. Bipolar medication has caused an enormous amount of weight gain. It is very difficult for me to take off, but there's more that I could definitively do for that. I also need to just get comfortable with it if this is the way that I'm going to be, because all bodies are beautiful. And then I want to gain stronger friendships with coworkers turned confidants. So at the beginning of the pandemic, there were 7 of us working for the facilities that we worked in, and we all got separated. People went different directions, found different jobs. It's harder for us to get together, but when we do get together, we realize how much of a kinship and a friendship we had built over the years that we had worked together, and we need to get together more often, make more of those efforts. So I want to strengthen and gain more in those friendships. I want to enjoy more of my city. Its food scene, its museums, and its festivals. I was so busy being a venue manager that I didn't take the time to actually enjoy the things that were going on in my city. So I want to make that change. I can succeed by learning to relax in the downtime and take breaks. I need more willpower to take control of my physical health. So I grabbed the bull by the horns this year, took care of my mental health, started that process. Now I really need to get down into the nitty-gritty on taking care of my physical health. What does that mean? Some things are simple, right? Some things are simple. Like, I am terrible at breakfast, and yet I know I need to get up, and I know I need to eat fairly quickly after sleeping in order to kick up my metabolism. I don't do that. I like breakfast food at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even if it's simple, like a protein bar or something, it's just very difficult for me to get out of bed, have some sort of breakfast routine, go to work. I am typically starting to eat something for a quote-unquote breakfast around 9 o'clock after I've already been up for 3 hours, and that's just not healthy. So that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about with I need more willpower to take control of that physical health. I want to visit Scotland. One of my former coworkers turned confidants and I are talking about going to Scotland. I had to tap into some of my savings here this fall and winter, so it's a little bit of a question mark right now whether we can make that happen next. I think we're looking at September, but if I can, that is definitely the biggest place that I want to visit. I may have to substitute that with something closer. We will see. And then I want to savor quality time with the young men that I have raised. So I know you all have met Kenny here on this channel. Most of you have. My son, I also do his bullet journal. Kenny moved home with me during the pandemic. He is 27. question mark. And then I do have another son who is 22. Finding those ways now that they are full-blown adults for us to have a quality time together and really savor those moments that I have with them. So that is my 2022 lessons and my 2023 guide. But now we are going to look at my 102 to do in 2023. And I thought about doing 103 in 2023, and then I landed on 102 to do. It's rhyming one way or the other. This idea again comes from Jess of Joshi Karen. I will link Jess's videos down below. I think she just recently populated her 101, hers is 101, populated part of her 101. But I did all of my brainstorming for this list in Notion so I could type it quicker and I could move things around if I wanted to. So we are going to hop over to my Notion really quickly and take a look at that brainstorm. Here we are in my Notion where I have been brainstorming my 102 to do. It's just easier for me to type things out. If I realize they're in a category I don't think they need to be, I can just drag and move them where they need to go. I'm gonna bring this back over here. And I am still planning on doing a Notion tour. It's going to come a little closer to the end of the year, and there's two reasons for that. The first being is that Notion dropped an enormous amount of updates over the course of the fall and early winter. There's just so many things that have hit that people have been asking for a while, that increase functionality for certain things. So while my Notion is great, like I kind of want to get in and tweak it and play with some of those changes so that I can possibly explain them to you. I might not be able to explain them to you if I don't try to do them myself. So I'm going to go ahead and take some time now that I'm off work for the holidays to make those tweaks in my Notion, and then bring that video to you a little bit later, maybe at the first of the year. It is definitively still coming. I have put this 102 to do under my manifestations. This is my goal area of Notion, which you'll see. This is the name of my Notion. I call it Lady Beth's Keep, and I have separated them into 5 categories. I am doing my goal setting and structuring a lot of the things in my life around the elements of the earth. It's sort of a very witchy thing to do without calling myself a witch, but it is part of my spiritual journey and wanting to get reattuned to the earth, something that I feel like I've been missing ever since I left Africa. When I was in Africa, when I was in Kenya, I just felt like I was completely grounded with the earth, the water, the air. There was just something about it that I am missing in my life. And so I thought I would structure my goals that way. And I decided to just put my 102 to do under that as well. So I have a whole bunch of them here that I have brainstormed. We are going to put these in my journal. I do have some of them tucked under this personal toggle that I didn't necessarily want everybody on the internet to see, but I just wanted you to see how I've sort of brainstormed it. I don't have a full 102 yet. I left myself some space, 20 or so spaces over the course of the year that I can add things to this. And when I put them in my journal, I'm gonna basically shuffle them. I'm gonna do one from one, the next, the next, the next, the next, and then do that sort of a thing so that all of the career are not together, all the soul are not together. I just kind of want to shuffle it up on the page on my spread. So let's go ahead and jump back to my bullet journal. Okay, now that we know what I'm gonna fill this out with for, I have my MacBook right here so I can see my Notion screen to reference it to fill these out. I'm gonna fill these out and then we'll talk about a few of them. I'll be back fast as I can speed up the video. Okay, y'all, so there we go. I have almost 80, or I do have 80 items because I put my 2024 102 to do down here. So I have 80. That leaves me 21 places to play with. I have my list and I will just check off any of these things if I complete these things this year. And the idea is to try to get as many of them done, but you don't necessarily have to get them all done. At the end of the year, check this list, reevaluate it. Some of these things, my values may change and it might not be something I actually want to complete anymore. For now, I have them on here. I did sort of alternate my categories between career and creative, soul, home and hearth, relationships, and health. So some of them are very simple things like going to see my mom. It's been a little while and she doesn't live in the same state that I do. Here's a plan miss for 2023, going to a library, one live concert. At least I used to go to multiple a year, but the pandemic changed that whole situation for all of us. I'd like to brush up on my Swahili since it's been so long since I have been to Kenya. There's just a lot of different things that I have in here. Some of them are super simple. I did put in a lot of sort of self-care things. I put in 4 massages. That's really for me to plan financially to do 1 a quarter. I can't afford 1 monthly or weekly, but if I can do 1 a quarter, that would be cool. As well as 2 pedicures. I would just kind of do those seasonally as far as like summer and winter situation. Our Museum of Fine Arts is about to reopen. It's been undergoing a 2.5, 3-year renovation. It's absolutely stunning from the outside, so I'd love to attend that. I want a new tattoo. I want to change my closet system. I might do a 365-day photo project on my personal Instagram. To be determined, but I went ahead and put it in here. I'm going to have to decide by January 1st if I'm actually going to pursue that or not. So lots of things that I can do over the course of 2023 just to give me a little direction and some ideas of just spicing things up, getting some simple things done, getting some complicated things done. Some of this is actually stuff that I've needed to do for a little while. Like I have refinish the Pier 1 chair. I had this chair that I pretty much coveted in the early 90s and 2000s from Pier 1 and never bought it. And then somebody was giving one away. And so I snagged it and it definitely needs some tender loving care. I've been meaning to do it for months. So I put that on that list so I can go ahead and get that done in 2023. So I hope you enjoyed this video of me filling out my annual pages for the year. Like I said, I don't have any trackers. The only other page I have is this lyrics page for me to jot down song lyrics that resonate with me over the course of the year, and then I jump right into January. There's no trackers in here. It is just our lessons learned, well, and my future log. Still need to fill out my future log. Lessons learned 2023 sort of plan or visions, and my 102 to do. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one.